And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Shadow Empire, and our computer needs a robot army run, where hopefully we're going to get that computer, although that's becoming less and less likely, as apparently we can't get our faction here to win the election we expected to do. It's round 82. We killed 600 or 700 infantry over the end turn. We have 6 decisions. The next faction vote is in 14 rounds. So if I play fast enough, we might get to that during this stream. And thus see if these guys sweep into 25%. They're actually falling in the polls. They're down to 48%. So expectation of them actually gaining seats is declining, which is not super good. Incident with overambition. This is the director of the military council. Although I don't mind losing Fist, so I think we're willing to take the unrest in exchange for giving them some opinion. Law vote. Enact super wealth tax. Sir, on the initiative of the Justice Knights, the Parliament is holding a vote where they've enacted the super wealth tax. It is only fair that those with the most revenue pay a higher share of the tax. Increases tax revenues. However, it is only fair that they pay a tax over their SSF holdings. Social standing feeds. Okay. Law effect. 20% most wealthy leaders get 20% of the most wealthy leaders get -2 relation return. Wealth is taxed an extra 3% as well as any assets. Costs 7% of the remaining BP. I could stop this, but it would be hard and expensive and probably not worth my effort. Well, actually, it wouldn't be that expensive. I'd only have to do an influence. I could probably do an influence against, and that would get the Justice Knights to stop. Interesting enough that they're the ones proposing it. The Justice Knights are proposing the law, but they're actually the one most willing to not vote in favor. On the other hand, I'm just going to lean back. We're not going to spend political power on this, and it does pass. Model Design Council. So we've got the infantry and the machine guns upgraded. With heavy combat armor, it's tempting to do bazookas, but we haven't upgraded the bazooka weapon yet. We haven't developed an APC. What is the heaviest APC I can get without any action point modifiers? So we'd give it the laser rifle, we'd give it the big engine. It's going to be in polymer. Can I get it the full 100 polymer? Yes. So that is what we will design.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
Ancient statue discovered. Scrap it for credits or keep it for political power. We're government. We're keeping it for political power. Moral high standing. Yes, you have a priority to mitigate the damage. Resettlement proposal. So I can say no. This is from Ridge Space. I can say no and get government, which is tempting to do. On the other hand, this is people. So I would get 100 or 1,700 people. I do like people. And I would like to keep their opinion up. Although I have enough opinion, we could happily say no and probably not tank the opinion too much. I will, because it sticks with our profiles better, and go with no on this vote.
Yes, sir. Roger
If it comes
that,
up
sir.
again, I'll probably say yes. Just get the opinion back up again. Well, that's a tank. A tank destroyer. So I think that's a fixed turreted medium tank. Or is... No, that's a fixed turreted heavy tank. What that is. So, big tank. Okay, much more shuffling than that, and I really need to bring in new brigades. And yeah, that's probably an argument. I probably need another brigade or two to properly cover the front. We're getting power. Probably enough that I could get away with deploying another brigade of energy weapons stuff. That's the Zafella League that we now physically touch. They don't support Non-Aggression Pact. Do I have trade with them? I don't. Let's attempt to get trade with them. They actually like us, apparently. Even if they're not super on board with agreeing to give me everything I want.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Roger that, sir. Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
Here we go. We got trade with them. Yeah, that gives me a secure border, so I can expand a little bit there without having to worry about too much. Brush that aligned.
Mission successful.
Here we go. Although from a power standpoint, I think what I do is I transition 2 of the units over to the new type, new subunit type. Let's, for example, say that the first unit should upgrade to grunts.
Understood.
Okay, so they'll need to receive power, so we're going to expect a 300 chunk of change of power going to go missing from the inventory. That's the first brigade. And where's the second brigade? That'd be thematic first and second, getting the upgrades. No, second's probably not going to be very viable. They're out all over the place, aren't they? Because there's the commemorated gunner. Actually, they are all in green supply. It might work. Mass upgrade, OHQ, grunts, 3.
Understood.
We upgraded about half of the second brigade. Okay. So you weren't able to. I'll pull you back in with you. Was it you that didn't? Oh no, you. Well, you didn't. You got 1. 1. Okay. Now that we've moved those guys farther back, let's attempt again.
Understood.
Okay, so not the whole brigade because we still have the 9 up here that weren't able to. They can't move, so they're not going to upgrade this turn. But I think that's enough for a turn of upgrading. Yeah, obsolete, low, and the regulars we're now starting to work on. And the new ones are much better than the old ones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's check up on the leaders. So this is the reserve pool. Once again, if they're joining factions that we don't want to empower, like the Steel Front, we're going to fire them.
Yes, sir.
Or the Justice Knights.
Yes, sir.
There we go. And we've got 6 there, so we'll see. And oh, one of them was actually the higher capability person. Shucks. But yeah, we're trying to empower the syndicate faction, so we're going to basically try to keep people on hand, hopes that the new people become syndicate faction members. We got them up to 5, and then we'll give them jobs as they get. Yeah, we'll give them jobs as they join that faction, and then every once in a while we'll just basically fire people from other ones to weaken the other factions. And it's not going to be the only thing that affects it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the only thing that affects the vote here. Because otherwise the Steel Front would have been the biggest faction. And it's the Justice Knights. Although the Justice Knights, I think, has Secret Service model design. They've got some of the more prestigious jobs. And one of the governorships, so they've got a decent number of people. An influence secretary. Although, governor of the capital, I think, would probably get pretty decent effect from the vote, so who knows? I apparently don't know how the vote works in this game. Otherwise, I would have known more about whether or not we were going to win. Apparently, I was wrong, so. And yeah, we're still continuing our construction. Were there any construction delays? Rare metal mine is done. Ice mine is complete. Metal mine is done. So we can expect more water coming in, at least until the urbanization is done. I don't think I need to upgrade the water mine again. Metal mine in Taos is done. Okay. So Taos, I want to build a government project.
Yes,
barracks.
sir.
So you're going to need more construction workers to make sure that completes in time. Well, that's only 700 more, so that's
Yes,
not a big
sir.
ask. And then yeah, we'll send you some population.
Yes, sir.
Over here, let's start. You're a size 2 city, so you should actually be able to, recruit some people. So I'll do one at a time. Start on the university here. And then over here, civilization score is actually showing as 100, so I'm not gonna futz with it. In theory, I'd probably say the education score is the only one that's not at 100. I'm surprised it's showing at 100. Although it must be unbound, is I think what it's going right. So it's showing 100 here, but yeah, that's not mathing out quite right, because it's supposed to be points divided by city level, so it should be like 400 or 477 or 474 divided by 5. It shouldn't add up to 100. So there's some behind the scenes math going on there that I'm not privy to at the moment. Yeah, we got 100% civ there. And you could do it a little bit more because you're a fairly big town. Okay. And I've got 6 on a line. Do I grab a couple more? Sure. Let's grab
Yes,
the civilian. Pretty know nothing.
Yes,
and
sir.
junior. That'll bring us up to 8. And I would like the fate point, or the virtue to be a little higher. I don't want it to go, what, above 75, I think is where we swap back. I want to stay spoiled. Yeah, 75 is where we swap back. So let's bump it up a bit. That should be easy enough to do at the cost of a bunch of political power.
Yes, sir.
6.7.
Yes, sir.
There we go. 71. And we don't want over 75. So that is good for the moment. And yeah, it should be trending down, so it'll probably start trending back down again. Okay. So again, I do need to declare war on Oxydon State relatively soon. I should actually double check when the demand timer for that runs out. I was kind of expecting them to declare on us when I agreed to that. But then they had the Civil War, of course, so... The Oxydon still has rebels somewhere, in theory. Still got a step in the turn order. Round 83. We killed 4 infantry and we have 4 decisions. Virtue score is now up because I spent a lot getting it up there. I did not, in fact, get the civilization level up quickly enough, so we failed a demand. Discovered automated logistics. That's good. Definitely moving towards where I'm going to probably swap away from discovery soon. Still want ultra capacitors to be discovered. Would like geotech. Would like housing. So yeah, probably still run 50-50. Okay. Workers protest against the CEO. This is presumably against the governor of Ion. Would like to boost heart. So there's an argument to get rid of the CEO. Upset about my crony. Well, I suppose in the real chat it would not be described as a crony CEO, but sure. Minor virtue crisis. I just spent a lot of effort getting my virtue back up, game. Okay, well, I'm not decrying foreign manipulation. So, virtue is going down. I think the more political power you spend here, the less it goes down. Serious crisis developed. Declassified archives suggest that the nation's official history, perhaps even its founding elections, may have been manipulated. Revelation spreads in disbelief and deep unease about what else might have been built on deceit. This case has taken a life of its own. It resonates in the public opinion due to demagogues that have long been criticizing the lack of change in our political system. Inertia breeds disaster. The visual and symbolic nature of this incident is high, and the consequences will be very real for a nation, national cohesion, and trust in each other. Yeah, this is a bit of unfortunate timing because I just raised the virtue. I'm gonna tank it on me again.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
Democratic activists request asylum. They like me a lot. And I'm not that interested in having a lot of enforcement, so getting some more democracy here is bad.
Yes,
Let's do
sir.
that.
Roger that, sir.
And then, yeah. Well, I'm going to need the virtue increase, I suppose, here. So we're going to take the virtue crisis first. Do I pay political power? Oh, it's political power and word for the middle one. Or just take the really massive hit? I'm just going to take the really massive hit.
Roger that.
No, minus 11 isn't too bad. This just undid everything I did on the last turn. Thanks, game. And yeah, we get rid of... You're going to be unhappy, but that's what you get for having a crony. Because the nation's virtue demands it. Oh, I thought I hadn't got all of you upgraded. So is all the first and the second upgraded now? Yes, the entire... No. I've got 9 of the second not upgraded. That 9. Okay. Misread it that second time. So it's only this unit at this point. So you... want you upgraded if you can. You were upgraded. There you go. Okay, I'm probably very close to the demand timer. Got 2 rounds left. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to declare on them, because they're probably not declaring on me. They might declare on me, that's a different problem.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
That goes up to 17. You're at 90. You actually want to be at war with you. Well, I have an embassy and a trade agreement with them. So I can piss them off to try to get them to declare.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
There we go. So that increases the likelihood that they declare on me. Also lowers their mutual opinion, so it's less fist when I do declare. Okay, how goes the construction? Hospital done, university done, solar panel field done. Urbanization, university, and barracks is continuing. Urbanization should actually be done next turn. Okay.
I'm on it.
Go ahead and take that solar panel to full. Yeah, I can't level up the solar panel here to level 2 until, you know, the city gets level 2. So continue putting more colonists here. It can't because we're out of logistic points. Okay. I'll hold them up for a moment. I'm surprised we're classed as out of logistics points. Where's my bottleneck? In there. Although that might be due to the ongoing construction, right? We were shipping metal. Yeah, okay. I see what happened there. It's probably all the metal we shipped. So that's probably this turn and this turn only when that's actually a problem. Okay, I'm not going to do them all in order. I definitely need to improve the ones we got on the front lines. I'm worried about this war breaking out, although it hasn't yet. Yeah, I think we just go unit by unit until I'm feeling comfortably low on resources. And then I'll probably feel uncomfortably low on, you know, metal. It'll be different or on power, which is a different problem. Grunt, mass upgrade, OHQ, Grunt, 2 to 3.
Understood.
That's that one. Grunt 2, mass upgrade, OHQ, 2, 3.
Understood.
Not all of that one, interestingly enough. You, for whatever reason, didn't get the upgrades. Try to do the 14th. 14th might suffer other problems.
Understood.
HQ got it and the rest didn't. Okay. Probably what's happening if we were to go look in the bottleneck is I've bottlenecked the route somewhere here. The bit's coming out. Oh, we're down. Yeah, we got down to 1%, so that's roughly what happened.
Understood. 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 Understood.
Nope, don't have enough industry for that. So I might have an industry problem this turn where I don't have enough to do everything. That's in preparation for being at war with these guys, and well, being at war with these guys, both guys, right? I've got the 10th, the 5th to upgrade as well, and then we should be in a better spot. I may be able to do that over the end turn, or on the next turn, so we'll see. We may also get declared on, which is a different potential problem. APC model 34%, 7% on you, and 7% on you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, cycle the turn. Yeah, not 100% sure that declaring on them with so many troops we see on their border is a great idea. Also, they may have declared on this, because it seems like more troops have come out of the woodworks, although it doesn't seem like they've attacked us, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're not at war. Okay, having pretty good showing against the nomads. We may take that ruin over relatively quickly. Round 84. We killed 900 infantry. We have 1 decision awaiting us. Virtue is dropping again. Aim due procedure. Heavy rocket engine's been discovered. Some more bureaucratic pushes, which is nice. You want to execute a relative. We will actually say yes.
Wilco.
Oh, I should have shown the profile view. +8 enforcement, +7 heart. So enforcement, a little bit of enforcement isn't bad, and we're trying to actually go hard. It's just all the diplomacy tanked, or sent mine to the moon. And yeah, a whole bunch of stuff got delayed because I spent too much of the construction rapidly building the troops up. Power is absolutely tanked. This is power going out to the units, to be fair. All the new units use power. Yeah, based on how rapidly low it tanked, I should probably not upgrade more units, as tempting as it is. And yeah, we're technically supposed to be declaring war on these guys at this point. If I don't want to fill that word, fill that demand. Please resolved next turn, so that does mean it be time. I'm gonna do it. Now is the time.
Open fire! Open fire! Mission successful.
Okay, yeah, it's time.
Roger that.
Yeah, I don't think they really got anything up here, so we'll quickly pick up this territory. They did actually kind of conveniently put a mountain up the or a road up the escarpment for me, which is convenient. If I were to be attacking. Not sure if that's a good plan right now. They're hostile. We want to be delaying that. Turning into actual war.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
That should do that. What about those two hexes? Okay. Oops. No, that's fine. Yeah, I don't think there's any places where you have particularly great. 4.3 to 1 is not actually that bad of an attack. Let's do a preemptive attack there.
Operation successful.
Okay, trading 1 to 2 on the attack is actually pretty good. Let's be fair. 2 to 1 the attack is not that bad. And this is infantry hypothetically attacking a tank. Part of that is the tank has armor, right? The tank is armored head to toe, 300mm polymer plating. Yeah, the laser weapons are going to have a little bit of a struggle getting through that. In fact, I think that brings the firepower to min. That brings it to min value, which is a 90% damage reduction. So we'd be rolling a hard attack, so 90% reduction on that, we'd be rolling like 11. Yeah, that's not going to work very well. On the other hand, they're not particularly great attackers. Well, actually, not particularly great soft attackers. So they would not be good at attacking us either. I do get the smaller hit point value, so I get the small value. Although 11 attack versus 1,000 plus hit points is not any way going to be a good indicator for trying to get someone killed. So yeah, I'm going to probably have a problem dealing with that tank. Now we're at the war. We're going to attempt to get back to peace. As weird as that sounds, we declared war, and we're going to immediately try to rearrange for peace. Order open contacts. We never closed it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
It's up to 20. Okay, so we're going to have to survive 2 turns of war, at least. So we're going to see how they respond to us taking some of their territory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I suspect it's not going to be particularly favorable of a response. Everything here, except for the solar panel, if I retain industry to build it, should finish. Mining overview. None of the mines are about to run out. The radioactive is the closest, and it's still a way off. And we are in 5th. And their oxydonsis, that actually declined to 7th. I'll go down a little bit because we're taking some territory off of them. Faction overview. Vote in 12. The faction we want to win the vote is actually not necessarily or not expected to win the election at this point. They might still get a vote total increase, but
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay, that provides more support. This report doesn't update until the end of the turn, or I suppose until the beginning of the turn. So I need to cycle the turn to see what the effect of that will be. Not likely to agree to that. So they're friendly, but they're not really open to doing anything super useful. We don't touch you yet. They're not friendly. We might want to improve relations with them before we touch them. Although apparently that might be easier said than done.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
Okay, that helped a bit. And then military, 48, so that's going to be a little while. 11% is actually pretty good. But if it continues at that rate, it'll be 3 turns. And then I'll have to build the thing, which is its own can of worms. I've been procrastinating on this. I really don't need heavy assault infantry. Can I get you to change?
Order received.
No, that wasn't what I wanted.
Order
Oops.
received.
Standing by.
Order received.
I'd rather have you do RPG infantry. RPG infantry.
Order received.
We disperse some anti-tank weapons to the units. We haven't finished machine... Oh, no, I have finished machine guns, so I can start distributing some machine guns if I had the power. And we don't. And I'll be wanting more, so we'll be wanting to continue that urbanization as soon as it's done. It did get delayed a turn, because I used too much industry upgrading our troops. Yeah, that'll give us 165 power. The first level is not super great. Second level is a lot better at 660. And then it proceeds to get better. We can take it all the way up to level 5, which is 4,000 here. And that's what I want, like 4,000 power coming in a turn. Power all the laser weapons. Okay, we're gonna cycle the turn here and find out very rapidly whether or not starting the war with the neighbors was a great plan. I suspect it probably wasn't. One of the Twitchers has put in the chat, war with a nebe. So I assume that's shorthand for neighbor. Yeah, we're at war with a neighbor, and we may be regretting starting the war very rapidly. Depends on how aggressive they end up being with their tanks, I think. As we've shown off, the newly uprated infantry are effective against everything that doesn't have like 300 millimeters of armor plating. For some reason, heavy assault guns are heavily armored and hard to damage with laser weapons. Getting attacked with artillery. Getting airstruck. The airstrike was a lot more effective. And of course the airstriked and artillery unit gets attacked, so they actually are able to force us back. And oh, that was an exploitation. Okay, so other than the one place where they like had a well-prepared assault, they're not breaking through. On the other hand, that well-prepared assault has undermined the supply situation to the entire front over there. So, you know, you win some, you lose some sort of situation going on there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to decide how I'm gonna deal with that problem. One solution may be to run a road in to supply the right half of the thing while we try to bring up some forces to deal with it. Or pull forces back. Some combination of the two, I think. Round 85, we killed 1,100 infantry and 80 tanks, at the cost of only 400 of our own. So that just show you how effective of a sort of a combined arms approach to get through that segment of the line was. They hammered it with artillery, they brought in airstrikes, then followed up with an attack, and only then were able to break that one hex. Every other hex they attacked held. Now, it's going to cause problems, because that's definitely undermining that portion of the defense, because they've basically taken an important road hex. But we did do a pretty good showing there. We kept our promise to be at war with Oxydon State. I'm still questioning whether that was a good plan to do, but we did it. Incident with overambitious order. Yeah, support the lead actions. But we don't actually want Fist. Hope on the horizon. The populace is taking hope from the inspiring CEO of Polymark. If we organize an event and speech right now, it might bring back some hope in our Imperium. 84 versus difficulty 83. So this would be a success guaranteed. That would be a success guaranteed. And if I don't spare the resources, it's not guaranteed. So, A or B is how I'm going to deal with this. And they're the same based on successes expected. I'm not sure if they're going to be the same based on virtue supplied. we'll come back to this. If we got the political power, I'll do the maximum, even though I don't think it's going to get me anything more from a profile standpoint, because I don't know if it's going to give me more virtue. New org. This is probably about as cheap as it's going to get. I think it is time to pick up the Air Force Research Council.
Roger that. Yes.
Minor worker strike. We're democracy, so we pay them off. Charismatic Union Chief. If we fail the roll, it misses them off. We do want that heart, and we do want that government. We'll give them a raise. I'll have to come around and probably do some raises down instead. And another raise. Okay, fine. Resentiment proposal. I'll lose the government here. This is a Vela League, which I do want them to be happy.
Yes, sir. Roger
And
that,
we'll
sir.
take the people. And yeah, we'll go for the max roll here.
I'm on it.
Okay, so for success here was 4. I don't know if this how high the success would have been in the other one. Okay, so we're basically going to pull out of this bulge to try to restore supply capacity and build a temporary secondary road to get supplies in. Still technically have a very weak spot there, but not too worried. And yeah, I think the 4-on-1 here. This is actually for fighting an armored tank. That's not that bad. I don't think we can actually kill it. I don't think I've got the armor, the damage here with no anti-tank weapons to get it to come down.
Going in. We need more firepower.
Not
sir.
enough, although with only one unit holding, I doubt they have the ability to attack from that perspective. Yeah, so I don't have enough reconnaissance to know what type of unit that is. Let's run the recon. I ran the recon unit already. Okay. So let's run the recon unit over and hopefully they'll give us more info. But that not be forthcoming info.
Move out. All clear, sir.
Okay, so you're not rebels. So there's one rebel hex here, there's a couple rebel hexes in here. So we know all their forces in Oxydon State are down this way. Okay. Umbrella device. Weathered machinery.
Advancing.
Mission successful.
Okay. Now this zone, I would like to run an archaeological effort on.
Roger that.
Found an uncommon one in that ruin. Okay. Let's follow up with another.
Roger that.
And we think that's the only one up there. So it's one uncommon deposit. So a lot of artifacts, not necessarily good artifacts. Just uncommon ones. Although seeing lots of light tanks, that's probably a light tank, if I were to guess. I actually don't see the artillery. Did the artillery may have pulled back? But yeah, we got hit with artillery and then we got hit with an airstrike. One thing I can maybe do... Actually, first let's check the construction. How did the construction go? Serpentization plant finished. University finished. Barracks finished. Solar panel field is running at speed. Okay. So we should be seeing next turn 100 something more power coming in. I'm going to follow that up with expanding the serpentization plant, which is going to be 600 more water consumption. So serpentization plant go. How much surplus water am I making? Supposedly none. I supposedly made none. Okay, so if I made none, then I need more water. So expand the ice mine. Like that makes that choice fairly easy. If I made no water, no net water, then I need the bigger mine. Right, so 200 or 12. Yeah, so 600 more. So either way, that should be fine. Right, the way that wouldn't be fine is if the improvement or worst case scenario, I'm making too much water with upgrading the mine. That's the worst case scenario. If I didn't upgrade the mine I needed it, then we'd be having water shortage problems. It'd be a different problem. And that would probably be a worse problem. Okay, so you're done with your barracks. You're done with the quality of life buildings here. Yeah, you're done with the quality of life buildings. So instead of building more quality of life buildings, I'm going to be building some Air Force this turn. So we're going to raise our first set of fighter aircraft. I'm going to raise a fighter squadron in the capital. That's where one place we have an airfield. I'm going to raise a fire squadron down here. This is the other place I have an airfield. This one is probably going to be the one that sees all the work. It has range, strike range out to 8, and I believe it's 3/4. It might only be 2/3 of air superiority range. So if I don't give it orders, which is my plan, is not to give it orders, it should be able to do air security out to here. Or out to here. So I should, if that's successful, that should protect my front line down here from being bombed like we had over here. Although, as a note, that implies I am not protected over here because we're too far away from here. That's only going to go out to like about there. My existing fighters are not good enough to protect everywhere. There's that one small area where they got the range. In Twitch chat's reminding me, the neighbor that just had a civil war is not a good idea. Well, declaring war on a neighbor that had a civil war is a good idea, but apparently they're not distracted. Well, they are distracted. I'm taking a big hunk of territory up here. Like, if I can negotiate this down to peace really quickly, then it'll be a pretty nice fait accompli. Right? I could tolerate losing 3 hexes here. It'll be annoying to lose hexes in the middle of your road network. But this is the forward portion of the network. It's not that bad. But yeah, we're basically taking this whole nodule up here, this whole north-south road segment, picking up this bit in here. Not a bad trade. Okay. Let's see, how much opinion this
Yes,
goes?
sir. Roger that, sir.
Success gets us the 7. Okay, so I can ask for peace on the next turn. So we'll see where we are on the next turn. If things are going well, well, if things are going well, I might try to get them off of the road junction here. If I can get them off of the road junction and then declare peace, that would probably be the best result. And obviously try to pick the rebel territory up here, pick the rebel territory up here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're sitting in 5th, and we are bigger than the people we're fighting. They have a bigger army, apparently. They've got the bullets and the troops and the guys. We've got the skill and technological edge. Here's high tech, military. When is next faction vote is at 11? So yeah, we're probably not going to hit that during this stream. I'm actually already over time for this part, so we're when this turn ends, we're going to put a part break in. Although I will do a once over on leaders. You joined the Justice Knights, so you're getting fired.
Yes, sir.
You join the Syndicate Trader Society, so you'll get a job. Your job may be serving as a commander to troops. May even one day be a job serving as commander to robots, but...
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you get to keep your job. You get to keep your job. Well, you get to keep being in the pool to get a job. Let's grab 2 more leaders, and then we'll call it for the turn. Cycle the turn. A couple military, given
Yes,
circumstance,
sir.
would not be terrible.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that's a good command. Or that's a good learner. Skill 4, capability 4. So you are going to be tempted to be kept, even if you pick the wrong faction. It's going to be tempted to keep you.
Understood.
Okay, cycle that turn. And we're going to be on the lookout for interesting events. You'll have to see how much they take advantage of me pulling out of the salient here. In fear, there's an argument there's all gap up here, so we'll see how they respond. Infantryman to infantryman, my new laser troops are better than their infantry. The thing I'm concerned about is heavily armored vehicles carrying out attacks. Or combined air and ground assaults could also be a little bit of a threat. I think most of the units we lost on that previous turn were come from airstrikes. I think it was the airstrike that actually caused the casualties. So they are moving. Interesting. So a bazooka unit was able to hold against a concerted attack. The bazooka units aren't upgraded. They're still running older armor. Although that had a little bit of a terrain advantage, I suppose. Okay, enemy tanks attacked a bazooka infantry combined unit. Attacked him again. They managed to hold. The depleted unit did not, so they were able to break the line there. But I think they exhausted most of their attack power, so they didn't manage to exploit it. There's the artillery striking. My Air Force only just got stood up, so they don't have enough readiness to attack. Stomp any of the sorties. Okay, so it looks like they got off the road network. So that'll work out for me if we negotiate peace. So I think there's a decent amount of territory we'll be able to pick up here. We'll pick it up at the beginning of the next part. So if you're watching on YouTube, we will have a part up tomorrow. I think this short war here will come to a close, and we'll be, once again, still trying to get that darn computer, because the election did not go the way we wanted it to. And I don't think we're going to be playing fast. I haven't been playing fast enough to get to the next election yet. Probably end up having that happen during the next stream. But yeah, we'll be picking up next time at round 86. We've killed 1,500 infantry and 20 tanks in defense from the enemy attacks on us, which we only lost 1,100 infantry in exchange for, which to a certain degree shows you how vicious their attacks are, and that's probably a loss rate that we necessarily can't sustain, right? So this is why we need it to be a short, sharp conflict. I can't sustain those losses. They probably can. But we're mainly managing to hold our territory. So it's not the end of the world. Yes, it's uncomfortable being here at war for the short period of time that we're going to be, but I think we'll be able to get back to peace. So if you're watching YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. I also have some decisions for tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break here so I can get up, stretch the legs, sip some tea, get one of the ad breaks out of the way, and then we'll be back to record one more part. So until the next part, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and/or stream, and bye for now.